What's up, YouTube? It's Kenny again. Headed towards Springfield, Missouri. Thought I'd make a video this morning. Before we get started, I'm not a financial advisor. I'm just a truck driver driving across the country researching and trading stocks, and I will not be held responsible for any moves you make in the stock market. Not ever. I am not your mama, all right? Do your own research, make your own decisions, and take responsibility for those decisions. And if you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button, like the video, leave me a comment below, and join the Patreon. The link is down in the description to support the channel and help me build a retirement, all right? So yeah, I hadn't made a video in a couple days, and there just hadn't been a whole lot to talk about. Went on a date Friday night with the amazing Jessica. You may have seen her in the comments. Had a good time, and we've got plans to go to New Orleans next month. So I've been a little bit preoccupied with that. So updates, I did pick up the other 100 shares of Lordstown Motors. I didn't get in as low as I wanted to. My cost basis is below where I sold, but not by a whole lot. My cost basis now is about $10, like $9.90 something. And so at least like now, whereas before I was even at $12.50, now I'm even at $12. So it's not a huge difference, but do have a lower cost basis now on it. Lordstown week kicks off on Monday, which is tomorrow. So I'm hoping I'm hoping we get some news during, if not shortly after that, and get some more movement in the stock. Fingers crossed, all right? OEG kind of just floundering. We're waiting on news. Enphase made some good moves. Like, it made some really good moves on, what was it, Thursday, and then some on Friday. And it's moving in the right direction. Some news stories came out talking about how there's a 40% upside to its highs and stuff. And we saw a pretty good bump on that day. Like, it was like 8 or 9%, something like that. And then it came up a little bit more the next day. So Enphase on the move back toward the upside. The Roth IRA still sitting around 20% return, a little more. M1 Finance sitting around 20% return now. Cash account still shows slightly down. I gotta be honest, I haven't tracked that cash account real well. And I think that the way Webull tracks it, I would actually have to go back and add up my deposits, and I have not done that. So realistically, I'm not exactly sure where that cash account is. I'm going to have to do some math to try to figure out like exactly where it is. But because I didn't do all of the buying and selling in there that I do in my Roth, I believe it to still be down. So at some point I'll go through and do the math on that. But that's pretty much where we're at, guys. I mean, there's not a whole lot to talk about. The market has somewhat calmed down. I've seen a couple people make videos about how we could see like some retail investors who started investing around when I did during the pandemic start to become bored because the stock market is acting more normally at this point. And so we may not see all these big run-ups that we're used to. So I'm hanging out, I'm thinking about my strategy. Some of the things that have crossed my mind recently are maybe to get up to a certain number, whatever I determine, whether it's a second year of maxing out the Roth IRA or just 10,000 of me putting it in, whatever I decide that it's possible that I might just leave that amount in the Roth IRA and use it for my regular trading, and then open a new Roth IRA somewhere like M1 Finance and start putting money into that for more of a long-term view. I mean, I know I have the cash account for a long-term view, but I do like the Roth IRA structure, and so it might be beneficial for me to decide on an amount to have in that Fidelity Roth IRA, and then once I hit that amount, to just start trading in it, and that will, you know, allow me to more easily track where I actually am, as opposed to somewhere where I'm just dumping money into it regular and it throws off all the numbers. And then with the M1 Finance, you know, I can set that up as an easy set it and forget it and start dumping money into that. There's also, you know, if I decide to go lease, which I've been thinking about going lease with my company, I have factors to consider there as well, because if I go lease, I'm not positive that I will be able to still contribute to a Roth IRA. I may make too much money. I think that I would still be able to, but it kind of depends on how well I do at it. It's going to be, you know, the taxes and the expenses affect whether or not I technically make enough to be able to contribute to a Roth. So, you know, that's something that if I do decide to go lease, it could affect the way that I trade. But, you know, that's just stuff that I've been milling around in my head. With the market like calming down, the volatility calming down, and us getting past the pandemic, I expect for the market to be acting more like it would have acted a few years ago, you know, where we're not seeing all of these huge run-ups and lots of opportunities for swing trading and stuff like that. So I think that it might be beneficial, like I say, for me to set aside a certain amount in this Roth that I'm using now to trade with, to actually trade with, you know, and then open another Roth IRA, maybe with the M1 Finance, and build a nice pie that I can just start dumping money in to sit long term. I don't know when or really even if that will happen, but, you know, it's just an idea that I'm milling around in my brain to create a little more safety, a little more stability in my overall portfolios, and still allow myself a large chunk of money to play with to keep myself occupied. And I've talked about that in some of my early videos about how, you know, if you use the Roth IRA to placate yourself to be able to make daily moves, weekly moves and stuff like that, then you don't get yourself bogged down with taxes associated with doing that in little cash accounts and stuff. And so I don't know, I'm just kind of thinking about my strategy, thinking about where things go from here, like I always am, guys. I'm always scheming about the future, and that's where I'm at. So still expecting everything I've said I expect. I'd like to build a little more of a position in Hyliion, a longer term position. It is in all three of the accounts already, but I just like really am really stoked about what's coming for Hyliion over the next year or two, and like that's one that I really do think that I want to hold for long term. You know, OEG, you know, I'm going to get out of it when there's a pop. Lordstown, I'm going to get out of it when there's a pop, a nice pop. Enphase is another one that I believe in long term. You know, and so I had always planned not to really think too much about selling it. Although, if I would have sold it when I was up like $700 in it or whatever, and then I could have bought back in real low and done it again. But you know, hindsight's 20/20, and I don't have a crystal ball, and it just is what it is, man. You got to take what you can get. You got to use your instincts and use your brain and do your own research, and you know, that's just all there is to it. All right. So, guys, I appreciate your support. Sorry I didn't make a video there for a couple days. Like I said, I've been kind of preoccupied, and depending on how exciting or non-exciting the stock market is, I may, you know, go through some more of these periods. I got some stuff coming up. I'm going to spend another day with Jessica next week, so it might not be a video for a day there. And then next month, around the 20th, I'm going to take an actual vacation, and me and Jessica are going to go to New Orleans, spend 4 nights there, run around Fort Worth for a couple days. And I don't know how much videoing I'll be doing then. That's going to be a real, actual taking my vacation, and something I haven't done in a few years is take a real vacation. So, yeah, again, thanks for your support. I appreciate you watching. Hit that subscribe button, like the video. Let me know what you think in the comments below, and join the fucking Patreon.